Welcome to the third instalment of season 2 on Up and About podcast. We've got a banger of a show for you this evening. Shout out to Jody and Karen who are getting involved. Good to see on the Facebook page. So we've got Shane doing a bit of an ode to myself. Visitor's guide to a Brisbane grand final. They've put a little tender in to get the gig there. AFL and management of former players. A couple of other things. Stick around. But Shane, we'll bring you in first, brother. Welcome. Good to see your pretty face once again.
Nathan, charming.
Thank
I know
you.
that there's an ode coming up, but you don't need any flattery. It's a beautiful ode, and I'm sure my grade 4 teacher would be very impressed with how far I've come.
Oh,
So looking forward to diving in. Another big hour of some excitement and some conversation. I think we're covering some pretty serious bases today. So thanks, mate. Looking forward to it.
Nico, welcome, mate. You look very warm. You look very pumped, excited. I know you had barbs flying before the in our pre-prep 2-minute catch-ups. How are you, mate?
Hello, everyone. Pleasure to be here again, and a special welcome to our boxing friends who are joining us on the undercard tonight before the Tim Zhu and Jeff Horn fight. So great to have the boxing community with us. And wouldn't it be pumping up in Townsville at the moment, boys? It'd be just, they would be up and about at the moment, having the big fight up there, the world's eyes on Townsville for the bout. We didn't even talk about that pre-game. So if you've got nothing to add to it, skip on through. But yeah,
Where's the good money, Nico? Where's the good money? You're a tipster.
Oh, I think the safe money's with Jeff Horn for me. But young Timmy Zhu, he's from good stock, isn't he? As they say, he's from good stock. He's old man. So for our younger listeners, his old man was very astute in the ring. And yeah, I think it'll be a good bout. I'll probably go the distance tonight. I don't think anyone will be hitting the canvas. I think we'll go the distance, and let's just hope those judges have a nice open outlook after some of the events through the week. But Shane, it's one of us has celebrated a very special occasion in the last couple of days, and I might throw it to you to take it from there.
And it's not you, and it's not me. So do the odds. Nathan, so I should have maybe suggested you get a couple of aloe vera tissues there, because it might be a little bit of a tearjerker. We'll see how it goes, but I'm assuming that we're going to get some glorious feedback from across the planet. So bear with me. I'll have to read it because otherwise I get a little bit emotional, a bit jittery. So here we go. The ode to the barn dog. He's our main man, our glorious host, and this week he turned 36. We are his mates, such we can boast. Here again to chat marks, goals and kicks. Understated, oozing talent and smarts. The fun lover with a voice from heaven. As fun and playful as Mario in his cart. As delicious as bread, sauce and Devon. Dog, you've arrived at your 37th year. Focusing front, no time for back or side. Let's raise a glass, consume several a beer. We're only just starting this big, bold ride. Like the rising peaks of the Pyrenees and the mystique of Mount Rainier. People clap your hands, clap your knees to Mr. Up and About, Nathan Barnier.
Yeah. Shane, mate.
I did a lot of research today on how we could try and tie in either Nathan or Barnier. That's where I ended up, mate. That consumed a lot of my day, I'll be very frank.
Mate, that was I'm speechless there, Shane.
Don't cry.
I think no, it got me in the heart attack there. But rhyming was it Garnier and Barnier? What was the
Mount Rainier? It's
Rainier. Oh yeah, of course.
In Washington State in the US.
Yep, big fan.
Yeah.
Shout out to all my American friends. Kev, hope you're well. All right, mate. Look, thank you very much, Shane. That's surprising and very heartfelt. So you'll get your justice service after that. So, boys, let's move on. So Brisbane, as I said, they've put their tender in to try and host the pinnacle of the game, the grand final. Melbourne has no hope in hell. So, Shane, we'll bring you in first, mate, after that delicious delivery there. Mate, Brisbane hosting the grand final. A lot's been said. Some are fans of it, some aren't. Brisbane can't kick straight, so hopefully the Brisbane government can do a lot better of a straight delivery for their pitch. But mate, give us a visitor's guide to a Brisbane grand final weekend for those people that haven't been here before.
All right. Okay. So we're going to be hosting, I would imagine, maybe our South Australian friends, a couple of our New South Wales friends, maybe the Taswegians, they might be allowed to travel. Our folks from the Northern Territory. Sorry, Victoria, you can watch it on the big screen. So some great stakes. So I don't want to go into an itinerary. I might next week, or I might just live it out in a couple of weeks' time when we get the big dance here in Brisbane, Vegas. Some great steak. So please, guys, jump in if you've got a couple of other additions. But the Norman Hotel, the Morrison Hotel, and the Brecky Creek. They're 3 institutions for great steak. So don't go there if you're a vegan from northern New South Wales. Some lovely views. We've got Eagle Street Pier and we've got South Bank. They're the places where people like to congregate at 1.5 meters, of course, and go and experience the big brown snake and the Story Bridge. It's delightful. Mount Cootha is a lovely lookout. So these are all the well-known places that people would typically frequent. I've got a couple of other lesser-known places which I think people need to be aware of.
Here we go.
So there's a beautiful, delightful Chinese restaurant that does an absolutely amazing Beijing spread. It's called the 88 on Logan. Now, the 88 is a very lucky sequence of numbers there in Chinese mythology, whatever it might be. But ask for the spread when you go there. Now, there's other places that everyone knows. The Big Pineapple is up at Biawar. The Big Bananas down at Coffs Harbour. Now, we've got Honeybees, which has this beautiful spread of Manuka honey and other offerings. So the most delightful honeycomb you'll come across in Australia is found at Honeybees. So take your family. The Sky Angel is another place. Now, that's similar to Mount Cootha, but a little bit higher. That's our greatest lookout. So Eureka Tower in Melbourne, or what's that big revolving restaurant in Sydney? We've got the Sky Angel. So feel free to go and see the Angel. And probably to top it off, the 4th establishment that you might have heard of is a pub. I believe it's a pub. It's called Platinum 175. And I understand the backstory that it's actually owned by Chris Gale. And Chris Gale bought it after he scored 175 runs off 66 deliveries in the 2013 IPL. So our big, strong, burly West Indian friend is a keen investor in the Brisbane economy. So thanks, Chris, and you might see him on the night. So that's about it for me, guys. Any other places to go?
I think you've missed. If anyone's allowed to cross the border to come to the grand final here, if Brisbane do get the grand final, that's a hit list and a half you've produced there, Shane. So well done to you. But you've missed arguably Brisbane's greatest asset, which is so close to the Gabba, just a stone's throw. And growing up, as a youngster, the greatest asset beside the Gabba was the 7-Eleven, where you used to nick off at halftime to get a cheaper sausage roll and a cheaper soft drink and whatnot. That's packed up a bit now, but you can go to the servo on the corner there, but just slightly more towards the CBD end, but directly outside of, I'll get the gate wrong, but the corporate gates is the Brisbane German Club, Shane.
Oh,
and
of course.
And I think that, as far as entertainment goes, thinking about who would be great. So you think that, Powderfinger are a great Queensland band. So Powderfinger might be on the short list. I know they reformed recently for the lockdown sort of period, but why not go with Andrew from the German Club just to do some great Australian song remix? Can you imagine Andrew belting out Daryl Braithwaite's Horses? Can you imagine hearing maybe Andrew's take on the national anthem, because we know that the AFL have had some budget cuts and some people lost their jobs during the week. So we might be able to just parachute someone in to sing the 90-second national anthem. Have Andrew from Brisbane's German Club doing the lot. Just a thought.
I heard some pretty devastating news I wasn't aware of. Nick, you'll probably across this. Did you know that Daryl Braithwaite Horses is a cover version?
Yes. So the song was first released in the United States, I believe, Nathan. And it didn't have the the esteem it's held in now in this country. So it was picked up, and Daryl does drop that. I've seen Daryl probably once or 27 times in concert, and he does drop that says, it's not mine, but you guys love it. Let's go with it. His new song, Love Songs, is not too bad. I think he stole it off Pink. Daryl's 70 odd, and he's stolen a song from Pink. And when you listen to it, you can imagine Pink singing it. So it's the great Molly Meldrum would say, do yourself a favour, slightly off topic to the Brisbane Grand Final treat. But look up Love Songs, Daryl Braithwaite, written by Pink or written for Pink.
Well, I love it. Well, rounding out, surely after the grand final, maybe the day after, you might be a little bit dusty. Head over to the Jam Pantry in Greenslopes. They're a great establishment, so that'll really show you very nice and truly.
That was good. Or why not go through one of our drive-through testing stations? Just a nice 3 hour. Just a nice 3 hours in the vehicle. The one at Murray, outstanding. You just get to sit in the car. You can your choice of radio station, and 3 hours later, have someone shove a couple of oars up your nostrils. Magnificent.
No worries. I won't go deep in this, but just a little vent. I hate the Queensland government. That'll do. I'm not gonna go any further, mate, because I won't shut up. But mate, let's move on. So Shane, let's bring you in, mate. It's been a big week for the AFL. It's been a sad day the other day. A lot of people have lost their jobs across a lot of roles, obviously, which we'll probably touch on in a moment. But Shane, bring us into this one, mate. What's your take on, I guess, the management of former players comes into play? How the AFL have probably positioned themselves, over the last week or two. What's your take on everything, brother?
Yeah, mate. It's a really interesting topic. Obviously, people, if you haven't, you should have a read of Robert Muir's story this week, written by one of the ABC journalists. But it's a very powerful, hard hitting window into, I guess, 70s and 80s Australia. Not just football, but just the rank racism and disrespect given by supporters, players, officials. So, but then you look at that sort of period of time, and you also look at someone like Shane Tuck, who, as people would also be aware, took his own life only a couple of months ago. So it's a very significant story, and it's a very significant consideration not only for the AFL but also I think for community footballers. How do we check in with people who have recently quit playing football, whether it's retired, whether it's retired through injury, retired through age, and are seeking to find a new way. But how do we keep tabs? How do we keep an eye on some of our former greats? And yes, I know we've got the former AFL or the retired AFL rehabilitation schemes and some of those financial areas to help out and to regenerate and help our players and go into long life with great health. But I don't know. There's no answer. I think it's worthwhile conversing, because I don't know if we're doing as well as we should as an industry. If you're looking at the AFL, I don't know if NRL or other places do it better. But Nico, do you have an opinion, mate? Is there something that we should be heeding? Is there something you've heard from another sport or another industry which seems like a really good plan, which the AFL should be looking into?
Well, I think football is one part of society. This is a societal issue. I think we've discussed it at length previously in this forum, and it's the mental health space. It is societal, and the dangerous thing that we have spoken about before is this current climate that we're in at the moment. You've got young men away from their families, living like in a camp environment, and you've got to think that there's a lot of people not getting games of footy or playing the Mickey Mouse games, a few days prior to the big weekend games. So I guess we're probably dancing around the edge of the Robbie Muir story, and for those people that aren't aware of Robbie Muir's story, I know that Shane's told you to jump on the ABC website, have a read of that. Also have a look at some of go on YouTube and type in Robbie Muir and have a look at some of Robbie Muir's work as a footballer. Now, he was a very combative and violent player, and it would appear that in this instance, 1 + 1 does equal 2. He was reacting to some pretty disgraceful behaviour, racist behaviour directed to him. And he's talking now about the issues that he faces in terms of he hasn't been invited to things. He's reached out to the St Kilda Football Club and they've blocked him from things. That's terrible, but it's been addressed pretty quickly. I think that the community's raised some money for him to have an operation. St Kilda have put out a press release. Collingwood have put out a press release. He did mention Collingwood as a particular club on a particular incident. And then it's had links to then Harry O'Brien, Heredia Lumumba's story that he's been pushing. So, it was Indigenous round on the weekend. And we started a conversation, but the problem that I have is that we have these rounds where we have particular focus and then we move to the next so quickly. I'd love the AFL to just narrow the focus and really pin down some things, get the conversation continuing, have Indigenous month, have mental health awareness month, but it seems that we're going, and it's probably hasn't been as microscopic this year based on the fact that the COVID environment, but usually we jump from one to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. We've got Pride round, mental health round, Indigenous round, a charitable children's round. It's one into the next, and yep, AFL is a micro of society, but I'd like to see the competition, just as I've repeated myself numerous times in this spiel, narrow the focus and get a couple of things really right. Get them really right. What's your thoughts, Nathan?
Mate, I think you've hit the nail on the head, to be honest. I think if you are to, just be a flush in the pan, week at a time stuff, it just falls on dead ears and people are just waiting for the next, dare I say it, hit relevant topic of the time to be acknowledged. So I think you've got some valid points there, mate. Instead of just a week, why not, pick maybe the most difficult things that they want to focus on, because you can't please everyone and you can't fix everything. So maybe perhaps I think what the AFL is trying to do is admirable if you take it on face value and dismiss the idea that they're just trying to protect their own brand in this, evolving social times. So let's take it on face value, but maybe pick a handful of core issues that they want to be on the forefront of stamping out. Racism has to be one of them. I think they've done a lot, and I believe it was a conversation amongst yesteryear's players. Gary Lyon was one of the boys leading the conversation, to his credit, and I think it comes down to acknowledgement and just putting your hand up and saying, look, yes, it was different times. To today's standards, it was a disgrace. That's where education comes into play and conversations such as this. So the stigma gets taken away from it, and we all learn and we all evolve. But I think the difficult thing is that people want to be acknowledged. So there's no point just ticking a box and saying, I've put my hand up and now we all move on. And then I've apologized for that. So why are we still talking about it? It doesn't work like that. You need to not only acknowledge, you need to take time to listen to the other individuals and hear about the impact that it's genuinely had. Take some time to empathize. And then once they've had an opportunity to put forward their perception and how it's impacted their community in whichever way, in every which way, then hopefully we can all walk hand in hand forward into the future community that I think we all want to create, whatever that looks like. So that's my take. So Nick, did I answer your question or just skate around it?
Yeah, no, I think you're on the money. We're doing a bit of a piss in the pocket fest here and saying that we're on the money with everything. But I would say this. I think that if the AFL are going to have these social rounds, the social justice rounds as such, I think there needs to be more education given to the players, which is kind of what you're saying, but I think it needs to be embedded in the whole program. If we're going to see smaller lists we're seeing football departments, the budgets being slashed. I think that the education and welfare space needs to be one that is probably pumped up. You don't need 11 assistant coaches. We don't need opposition analysis. There needs to be more put on the senior coach. Like we saw in the rugby league, Anthony Seibold had an enormous contract. He's just stepped away from that. He was on enormous money. There was still X amount of assistant coaches and things like that who are also getting paid. It's enormous budgets. If the budgets are being slashed, let's push some more money to the welfare education space. So when we do have these rounds, players are educated enough to, one, know, and two, pass that message on, because they're looked up to because their ability. They should be looked up to also for their stance they take on social platforms. And I think there's definitely only one way to go with the racist side of things. But I think on other issues, it's okay to have an opinion. It's okay to have an opinion, and people should be educated in that way to say it's okay to have an opinion. We can be accepting, but it's still okay to take a viewpoint on that. But as we've said before, the default setting for society is outrage. So let's see where this goes. It's going to be an evolving beast in the years to come, boys. And I think that, it's only going to get even more challenging, I would say, in the years to come.
I think you're bang on. I'm not a huge fan of political correctness at all. In fact, I hate the mongrel. But look, let's move on. We got a fan question. We're trialing something new. We are for the fans always. So I'm going to throw in a question here from Karen. Shout out, Karen. Cheers for joining us. Karen says, I'm fed up with players getting fines over and over again. I reckon after the second fine, they should be suspended. Example, Tom Lynch, rather. What do you all think? Shane, what do you think about this one?
Absolutely agree with Karen on that one. The fact is that there's guys out there, 95% of AFL footballers, maybe 99% of AFL footballers, would realise at all times that they're not eligible for the Brownlow medal. So they're not going to be caring too much about a fine or whatever it might be. So if we are to move to a point where I think someone like Tom Lynch, he might be okay with a week off, or he might be okay with a couple of fines. The fact is that the guy's on, say, $1 million a year, gets a $500 fine, that wouldn't even pay for the amount of time he's on the field, proportional to his overall wage. So it'll probably be paid by someone anyway. There'll be a slush funds floating around, some of the third-party agents that float around these clubs. But I think there needs to be very clear rules on if you're a regular fine getter, then no way. It's a fine, and then the second offence, it's done. Particularly if it's for the same offence. And I think that's the AFL's trying that at the moment with the I think Michael Christian's a little bit hamstrung because he's sending some of these things to the tribunal, which really shouldn't be going to the tribunal, but he's trying to get a little bit of that consumer supportive feedback on how these things should be remedied, because the staging, the jumper punches, the crappy stuff that no one likes to see in our game, it's got to stop. And I think the way that's going to really penalise the club is through early suspensions.
Well, it was brought up the other day. I think it was on the couch, but I wasn't aware of this. I think a lot of people are a big fan of increasing the fines. Now, to be fair, I haven't fact-checked this at all, but it was suggested that the Players Association has to agree to the fines going up as far as penalties. I'm not sure if you boys can shed some light on that. But if that is the case, that's a bloody disgrace. That's like the general public turning around saying, "Thank you very much, government, Mr. Policeman, but I won't be paying $1,000 for my speeding fine or drink driving, which we don't condone. But I'll give you $20." So I found that quite peculiar that the Players Association have a say in the monetary fines or penalties. So Nick, I'm not sure if you can shed some light on that or not. But where do you sit with this one, mate?
I think, firstly, thanks to Karen from Brighton for her question. It's good to see that you've got out and about because you've done all the streets of Brighton and you've managed to find our podcast. So thank you, Karen. We had a point system a couple of years ago, didn't we? Where there was carryover points. Am I thinking of rugby league? But why not do this? So let's say, a jumper punch. It's not going to cause too much damage. Let's give it X amount of points. and then the points build up and it equates to a week. So in a state school system with an education background, there's a pyramid or a matrix, and X offence, it builds up. In my environment, we've got lunchtime detentions, out of the yard, reflections, suspensions, and then you kick on like that. So why do you wouldn't keep going back and to the same thing? So Tommy Lynch, fine. So I would like to see a point system come into play for those minor things, and then it hits a certain amount of points and you get a week. It's taking something from the most unprofessional professional sport in the country in rugby league. But I think that's a way of doing it, because the fines, as you said, Shane, the fines are just so not proportional to a player's wage. I believe the player has to pay it, Shane. I think they can't, because of the way the salary cap works, that the player has to pay it. But it's throwaway money. It's a sports bet account that Jaden Stevenson, backs himself in to kick 3+ and that sort of thing. So bring a point system in, cut the silliness out, but just maybe speak to the players about it. Stop doing pretend tough stuff. Like did Jack Rewalt compare Tom Lynch to Fraser Gehrig the other day?
Yeah.
Did we talk about it last week?
We touched on it.
Yeah.
You weren't happy.
Any more coverage, surely.
Jeez, that's like comparing Shelley Craft from The Block to Jennifer Hawkins.
Oh wow.
We love Shelley.
Well done.
Yeah, she was on Saturday Disney back in the day for my vintage. They remember Shelley when she was on. I don't know why I brought that up. I watched The Block. It's probably gonna go into lockdown in a few weeks. So if you're a Block viewer, enjoy the next couple of weeks, because then they go into lockdown, and they're like most of our mates in Victoria. So on that, if I may, our loyal Victorian listeners and viewers, hope you're going well. I hope that you're just tapping into something that keeps you going, because it's very tough down there, and probably even more tough having to listen to Daniel Andrews every morning like he's running his own breakfast show, reeling off exorbitant stats about deaths and things. And I wonder if after COVID's finished, we're going off a bit off topic again, and I apologise for this, but I wonder when the coronavirus situation ceases, are we going to have on breakfast television just regular stats of deaths? Because are you aware of the rate of death in normal life, that people do die every day? And a lot of the people that we're counting in these statistics are people that were, I'm just going on a pathway here. I'm not sure how far I want to go into it in this forum, but let's hope the vaccine or cure or whatever's going on is found quickly. So to my mates in Victoria, I love you dearly, and hang in there, please.
I think what's really interesting, we won't go too deep. The rabbit hole runs very deep, but I think it's interesting just how much, I guess, the flu numbers have dropped dramatically. Anyway, so let's move on, boys. We got Gold Coast and GWS. So the two latest expansion clubs in the AFL. Look, they've both had quite the journey so far. My boys, Gold Coast Suns, a journey and a half, it would seem. But from someone just tuning in, it would appear almost that the Gold Coast could be argued are on the up. I know the last 5-6 weeks haven't gone according to plan, but there hasn't been much in it. Don't worry about the Carlton game. And GWS potentially could be on a little bit of a slide, just potentially losing their way. So the question that we're posing here tonight, Shane, Gold Coast Suns, GWS Giants, which club is closest to a flag?
I'm going to reserve my judgment until the end of the 2021 season.
No, sorry.
No. All right, okay. Well, I believe that the Gold Coast players that matter, your Lukosius, your King, Willis has come across on big money, Matty Rao, Noah Anderson. There's a bundle of talent that I've missed there. I believe that they are closer to a flag. And I think a huge point of reckoning for the Gold Coast Suns is going to be how they deal with the end of the 2021 season. The fact is that they can't win in the second half of the season. They're tired again. They're broken. They're fatigued. You'd have to have a look. You'd have to have a very, very close look at the preseason, the way they're structured, because these young bodies simply aren't sustaining a 22 or an 18 round season, whatever it is this year. So if they can keep that crop happy, content, paid, committed, I see that they are going to be threats, very big threats in the next couple of years. Greater Western Sydney, I think there's going to be some wholesale changes at the end of the year. I think Jeremy Cameron looks like he doesn't want to be there. They've got a lot of class midfielders that they may need to just mix around, mingle that to throw a bit of trade bait out there. And we're not talking about the general player. We're talking about Jeremy Cameron into do we talk about a Josh Kelly? Do we talk about a Toby Green? These are the heart and soul. These are the guys who were so close to a premiership last year. But at the moment, they are not there. Usually it starts with the coach, but all the whispers at the moment seem to be that some of these key players who are on big dollars and big deals might be looking to go and seek some alternate service. So Gold Coast, I'm excited. I just want them to start winning some games in the second half of the year, because otherwise you're not going to win premierships in Feb.
Yeah, fair enough. Nick, where are you at? A lot's happened to the Gold Coast Suns over the last week. A lot of headline kind of, I don't know, fairy tale writing. A lot being said about Dean Solomon and other coaching staff being let go. Where do you put the two clubs? Is there any truth to that? I know you touched on earlier the fact that there are perhaps possibly way too many assistant coaches anyway in each AFL club. So out of the two clubs, which one is closest to a flag?
It's a great question, and it's been debated for a number of years, and people have gone back on their answers and flipped it around. I think if you just line up the stats, and I won't back over Shane's names there, but he's named some absolute out-and-out up-and-coming stars on the Gold Coast list, and Gold Coast are being spoken about so positively at the moment. The Giants are still a game and a half or 2.5 games ahead on the ladder this year in terms of being there. You make the 8 this year a chance, whether you finish first or 8th, you make the 8 this year a real chance with the way that football is being played. But here's some names for you, Shane, from the GWS end. Davis, Ward, Shaw, Mumford, Jacobs, Reid, all play consistent senior football at the Giants. Yep. They'll never play in a premiership at the Giants. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 of their best 22 that are not going to play in a premiership at that football club. So on that alone, you'd have to say Gold Coast. But geez, the Gold Coast have had a lot of positive feedback. The thing I fear is backing it up. If you think a few years ago, I think the Suns, was it Stewie Dew's first year? They won 5 or 6 in a row. They didn't win another game. They started really well, and they were great to watch. They're not that flash to watch at the moment. They're getting a bit tired, and that's what kids get tired. It's going to happen. So I would say that they won't play finals this year. The Giants might, which gives them a sniff this year. But I think it's all or nothing. The Giants, it's this year of those 6 names, and then throw in Jeremy Cameron, who looks all but Geelong bound. If what you read is true, they'll be a very different looking side in 2021.
Yeah. All right. Well, GWS, their opportunities, the door is closing rapidly, surely. But a lot's been said about Jeremy Cameron over the last couple of weeks even. So we won't touch that. Good luck to you, mate. Hope you find some form very soon.
If he came to Collingwood, I'd be very happy.
You're a different team.
He's like the Pies are missing, and apologies to those people who say I talk about Collingwood too much, but we've got 80,000 members. There's probably a few that listen to this. We're a key forward short, and you saw that the other night. Got the footy inside 50 a fair bit, but big Coxie, he's just about past his time for the great man. But if you had Cameron down there with the midfield that the Pies have got, and the halfbacks and the youth, the run, it would just make an enormous difference. So I can see why he would command big money, even Dicko, someone like Charlie Dixon. But as far as the Giants go, I find it weird that is Jeremy Cameron waiting to find out what the new salary cap arrangements are?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Like, is it? Like I don't know what.
It's not subtle, is it?
Yeah, but was not Caniglio was in the same position this time last year, and he waited longer, didn't he? That was he did he sign after was just before the grand final, after the grand final? I don't know. It seems very Yeah, very similar sort of situation. But in summary, you'd have to lean towards the Suns. But in saying that, like right here, right now, the Giants can make the 8. I don't think the Gold Coast Suns can.
The Gold Coast got to try and retain some players now as well. That's always been their downfall, is actually retaining the talent that are coming through. So Stewie Dew's doing some beautiful things at Gold Coast, so I think the culture's turned around a bit. Hopefully the players stick around. We got something a little bit special for you tonight.
Throw a quick highlight there, Bundle.
Please.
Darcy Cameron, direct trade to Jeremy Cameron. That is the news feed. That is the clickbait, Nicholas.
Is that for real? Is that or we just
that's Shane. That's Shane using humour, but it's good to see the great Corey Giappetta jump on as one of the 80,000 Collingwood members to say, keep talking about the Pies, Nico, because we love the Pies. The people love the Pies.
What's doing with Sidebottom, mate?
So, baby, look, that's life, isn't it? That's fantastic. I think it's really good. He's having his first child with his lovely partner, and he's heading back to Melbourne. Hopefully, on the way back, he keeps his clothes on and stays away from the scotch. But he took some time off to deal with that, and it's unfortunate that it's probably, that hurt us. It's when the wheels sort of fell off when his pants did. So he'll head back, become a father, and if we play finals, which I don't think we will, he'll return, and we'll see how that pans out for Rusty.
Fair enough. All right, Shano, kick us off, mate. Got something special. I'll tell you what, ladies and gents, Shane's research, preparation, that kind of stuff has been exemplary. He's been best on for the last couple of weeks. Me and Nick, we do no work. Shane says, there you are, boys, on a platter. Here's tonight's show. So thank you, brother.
Yeah, it's been a big week. Nick, go, Nick, come on.
I was going to say, Shane, this is the best on that you should be really proud of, mate, because Graham doesn't watch this. So it's good that you've been given a best on.
This might be a legitimate 3 votes. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
No, I love you, Shane. You're my best 22 of all time, which we'll look at once the potential end of things happens in a few weeks. We'll see how we go. But go, right. Shane. Go.
Okay, fire away. So I've come up with a topic, and yes, I am self-employed, so whatever. Songs that you would back yourself to sing in different scenarios. All right, guys. So Nathan, you are an artist. I've alluded to it. In the ode, and people will hear the gentle, dulcet tones of you at some stage, I'm sure. And Nicholas, you are one of our true karaoke stars. I've seen you, and you got quite the performance. You've got great vocal range. So what I want to pose to you guys is a couple of different scenarios where you would choose a song. You don't have to sing a couple of bars unless you really feel like you need to tonight. But there's a certain couple of events here which I'm very keen to hear your feedback on. The first one, we'll start with the big blockbuster. Okay, so this is the one in front of a raucous crowd of maybe 30,000 people. The AFL Grand Final performance, and this is second up. So you might get a bit of local talent like a bit of Levi Kariyama or something to come out first and get the crowd rolling. But second up, what we want to hear is something big, bold, strong. Get the crowd engaged. Get them lively. Get them, really whetting their appetite for the game ahead. I'll start with you, Nathan.
Jesus. Well, usually I jump straight to the great man Jimmy Barnes, but I'm assuming that the AFL's paid him a truck ton of cash to kick us off again with the Cultures of Boys. I'll steer away from that. So a song to get the crowd up and running, is that about right?
Absolutely.
All right, I got one for you.
Woo.
And an absolute Australian classic. This is the forgotten gem, unless you are at the Victory Hotel, perhaps at 4:37 p.m. on a Sunday. Let's go with Screaming Jets, Better.
Oh, yeah. Very good, Nathan. Very good.
That is fantastic, Nathan. I can feel it. I'm ready for the anthem.
I'm pumped, mate.
Can I add a side dish to this? Can you recall a time, and this is myself and Shane might be able to add something more humorous, but can you recall a time when you've actually delivered that, Nathan, and you've got a bit of an oomph out of it? Because I'll captain the team here. I can recall a time when I performed that in Cairns at a particular Backpackers after we had a pre-season game against the South Cairns I think they're the Cutters or the Cane Cutters. The Cutters, they wear a Christmas-looking jumper. And there was a band. It wasn't a karaoke setting, I should say. There was a band that were playing, and they went for a interval. And I jumped on the stage and started belting out a bit of Better. And then the people liked it that much that two massive blokes actually came up and gave me a big hug and threw me down the stairs. So they really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. Can you recall a time when you've had a crack at Screaming Jets Better, Shane?
Oh, no. I'm more of a helping hand sort of guy.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice. Bit of shivers.
A little bit subtle.
Nathan, it was part of your repertoire. When did you get the biggest kick out of, or just a Screaming Jets number?
I used to play helping hand. Funny you say that. But I think I believe it was maybe Tuesday nights at the Stock Exchange. Had a fantastic little karaoke setup in the upstairs bar. Cheap as piss drinks. And I think they got a run a few times there.
Nice.
So we're grand final day. We're grand final day at the Gabba, and we need to get the crowd going.
Get the crowd on their feet, Nick. I want them chanting. I want them clapping. I want them getting a little bit sweaty, the humid conditions.
Well, there's a song that you can sing, which you can get the focus off the lyric very quickly. And it's a song that I do enjoy, but after attending the 2018 grand final, it sends shivers down my spine in a negative manner. But it's Eagle Rock, Daddy Cool.
This is steel, is it?
Yeah, because once you're into the song, everyone's they're undoing the belts, they're ready to drop the strides. So it does take the focus off the lack of vocal ability, and it gets the people going. It does. So, but I'll now pose the B-side question. Shane, have you ever sung Eagle Rock and got anyone going at a particular point? Sure.
No, I never have, and I've never participated. I've always sat.
You're so boring.
In the background. No, I'm not boring here. Come on, I've sat in the background. I've seen grown men do it, and they sort of got to the end and they start to get a little bit awkward because there's a point where you have to then get your strides and pull. Anyway, but it's a classic. It's a classic.
Nathan, Eagle Rock.
I've never. Here's something crazy. Like as iconic as the song is, I never bought into the mass hysteria that it seems to bring up in people. So I think Mr. Daddy Cool, Nick, you might be able to educate us on one of his other smash hit songs that he wrote for another great man. I think that was a better song than Eagle Rock, hands down.
He did. It was a beautiful song, Touch of Paradise. Ross Wilson, Ross the Boss, wrote Touch of Paradise for John Farnham. But sticking to the B-side question, you mentioned the Victory Hotel. I did belt out Eagle Rock at the Victory Hotel on the night that Peter Beattie lost an election, and I changed the lyrics to doing the Peter Beattie rock. Yes, so there's just one for our Labor voters.
Perfect. Shane, you got an answer for us?
Yep. Okay, I've got a second scenario. I know I've been.
Shit.
Yeah, we got four. We'll see how we get. We might.
I know I've hijacked it with the B-side. Sorry, Shane.
No, not at all, mate. I'm excited to hear your feedback. It's excellent. You're very, very involved. All right, a bit of a change of tone, but possibly not. Depends on your flavour. So I'll give you no further information, but NRL, State of Origin, halftime. Start with you, Nico.
If it's, I'm going to try and make it more specific. So we're at Suncorp Stadium.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And we got a bit of maroon on. The name of the band.
And Rum's free.
The name it. Oh yeah, it's flowing. It's the
FPOS failed, so Rum is free. 50,000 people getting stuck into the brown liquor.
Old mate's gone up and asked for the fourth time. Is this? You got rum on tap? You got. He's done that one. Nathan will help me with the artist here, but how about this? We built this city.
We built this city on rock and roll?
Yeah. Yep. So I can just see that. Just it's the first time it came to mind. I could see the lights dimming there. And isn't Suncorp Stadium a place to be with State of Origin? I mean, it's almost like being at a Collingwood and Fremantle game in the middle of winter at the MCG. You got 50-odd thousand people there. Well, Collingwood and Fremantle would attract 50,000. That's how much the rugby league State of Origin attracts, 50,000. So it's got that really tribal feel to it. Mate against mate, state against state. Nathan, what are you singing at halftime of the Origin?
I went. I thought a little bit outside the box here. Initially, I've got 3 answers for you. I'll fine tune. I'll take you on the journey.
Initially, I've got. So please, this is great.
Yeah, mate, my head doesn't stop. So
is it a medley, or are you going with?
No. Potentially that one with me. But
yeah, right.
At first, I thought Metallica, Master of Puppets.
Oh wow! Jeez.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
and then I switched a little bit. I thought, no. AC/DC, Back in Black.
Yeah.
And then I thought that's a little bit better. And then I realized the error of my ways. It has to be hands down Suncorp Stadium, halftime. The Maroons are up by 2. It's been a blockbuster of a match. Akadaka, Thunderstruck has to be done. The crowd would go nuts.
They will go ballistic.
And can imagine this? It's Queensland 16, New South Wales 14. Now let's go down to a local. He's an up-and-coming talent. He's 36-year-old from the outer eastern suburbs of Brisbane. It's Nathan Barnier. With a bit of Akadaka for your fat man. What do you think? And then fat man's in the background going, it's a jab, turn it up, it's a jab. Here he is, Nathan Barnier. Yeah, sorry. I had to go there.
Oh, wow.
I had to go there. But Rabs doesn't host anymore, does he? He's a bit too red for being the on-air host.
Yeah,
he's a bit red.
Great behind the mic. All right, so the final one. I did have 4, but I think we're running short on time. So this is a bit of a sentimental one. So you've got a chartered jet full of your greatest friends and family. So everyone's all very, very close-knit, all very tight. You've got the pilot's microphone, and you're about to land, and you want to welcome all those people to the destination of your choice, where you're taking them on a beautiful, glorious summer holiday.
So, Jesus, this is a difficult question. We need to work out. We're on a plane. We've got to work out where it's being flown to, and then what song we're singing as a result of
the summer holiday. We'll say it's an idyllic. We'll say it's Tahiti. It's an idyllic. You're taking all your greatest family and friends and all your tightest comrades over the journey to take them on the holiday they've always dreamt of. You're about to depart. You've got to say
depart or land.
Land.
Sorry, depart the plane, but you need to.
I gotcha.
Yeah,
I got one.
Yeah.
If we're going to I'm thinking summer. We've been cooped up with this COVID crap. So we're all wanting to cut loose. It's a party atmosphere. We've flown from wherever we are. Got a summer exotic beach, sun, sand. Yeah, plenty of tequila. I'm going a medley. I'm going Inner Circle, Sweat into Peter Andre, Mysterious Girl.
No, you are not. What the hell?
Same chords. It's a medley.
Is that the live from the Hyperdome 1993 version?
That's exact. Is there any better?
Holy hell! Oh, geez, I don't. It's a hard act to follow. But that's not the song that I would go with for those Grinspoon fans out there. We're on a plane, and probably anyone who knows me would be aware of the difficulties I have in tin coffins. So the first song that came to mind was, and again, artist escapes me, We're Never Gonna Die, which is also appropriate for the COVID times as well. So a bit of a...
That's an Aussie song, isn't it?
Yeah, We're Never Gonna... Look that up, Nathan, quickly, or is someone more astute. And I'll
Choir
find
Boys,
something.
isn't it? Choir Boys?
Is it the Choir Boys?
Let me have a look.
All right, keep going, Nico.
Pose another one for us, Shane, while we're looking that up.
All right. Work colleague departing due to COVID restrictions.
They're departing
a little bit somber. I didn't want to finish with the fourth one.
Choir Boys, Nathan. Very good pick. Choir Boys.
So, yep, a bit more of a tearjerker or a sentimental. Your very close work colleague you've worked alongside for a period of time has been let go by the company you've worked for, and you wanted to sing this friend, male, female, colleague, a farewell song.
Nathan, I'll throw you under the bus first.
Thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciate it. What about this? Nah. I went with Matchbox 20 Bent, but like a cool little somber acoustic number. But what I got it. What about I Would Speak For Them? And it would be not Frankie J. There was a little not Ray J either. There was a little a to and fro song battle that come out, I think early 2000s. I can't remember the name of the first one, but the second one was the female coming back, and it was called "F You Right Back."
Oh,
boom! You're on the same wavelength as me, Shane. Ask the question again. What's the scene? So it's a colleague departing.
You're a close colleague, someone you respect and appreciate and have enjoyed the time working with this person.
Yeah.
And they've been let go by the company the final day.
So they're going to be a bit emotional about the fact of the circumstances. And when people move on, there's some excitement about new opportunity, and there's also some agreement towards perhaps some unfinished business and the like. So we're going with Dragon. I think I've got the band right here. It is Dragon.
It's like April something Cuba.
No, it's not Dragon that sing it. I've got
what song?
No, it's.
Don't be afraid to sing a few bars, Nick.
Am I ever going to see your face again?
Angels.
Bring back.
How bad is that? I'm a connoisseur of Australian music, and I've stuffed that up. But the lead singer was a Kiwi, so that's Australasian music. I apologise. But that's a great song because it's going to get people. Then people are talking. They're like, "Oh, is there some why?" And yeah,
nice one.
Always good to give people something. But that was a great segment, Shane. Well played.
Yeah, well done, Shane. Best on. Nick, before we get into the tips very quickly, I've got a question that's been posed to yourself direct from Jody. So shout out, Jodes. Nick, how excited from 1 to 10 are you about Brisbane putting in a bid to host the grand final? From Jody.
Good on you, Jody. Great to have James Packer's former wife, Jody Mears, as a loyal fan of the show. So thanks, Jodes. Out of 1 to 10, it's a flat 1. Yeah, we've had a lot of football played at the Gabba. I've got along once in that time because it's not a venue that excites you to go to, even less so with a half capacity crowd, and then to know that forever and a day that the one grand final played outside of Melbourne was played in Brisbane is not an exciting thought. So it's a solid 1. If Collingwood are playing in it, it might go to 4. It's a 1. But thanks, Jody.
Jesus. All right, boys, let's jump into the tips. Aware of the time there. Thursday, we've got, if I'm on the right date, we are Hawthorn Hawks versus Essendon. Shane, brother, where are you putting your tip?
Ooh, so we've got another double header tomorrow night. That's beautiful to watch. I'm going for the Hawthorn Hawks with Joe Danaher's return as well. It's going to be very exciting to see. He's putting himself on the shopping list.
How do you is that suggest? Is he playing? Is he?
He's playing, but they've named him. Yeah.
Interesting. How do you see that playing out?
Oh, mate, he's going to be okay for the next couple of weeks. This is currency building.
He'll break down. But more importantly, Jeff Kennett to go another term as president of Hawthorn, and that'll spur him on to just get over the line against the Dons. Just.
Look, I've got a soft spot for Essendon, but the Hawks will get it done. Sorry, boys. All right, so we've got double header there. Shano, thanks for pointing that out. We've got Richmond v West Coast Eagles. He's on the Gold Coast. Shano, we'll bring you in second. Nick, what's your tip here, brother?
We wrote West Coast off before they headed back over to Perth because they were no good over here. They're coming back over here. They didn't like the Gold Coast, did they?
No.
Richmond will win.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, they played. They've been a little bit off the last couple of weeks. West Coast getting the job done back home, but yeah, I don't know what it is about the Royal Pines Resort. They got some issues with that place. So Tigers to start their really solid end of season run.
Yeah, I agree with both of you boys. So that'll be that one. Tigers getting it done there.
And Tom Lynch is so tough, Shane, isn't he? Such a tough footballer, Tom Lynch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Western Bulldogs versus Geelong Friday night at Metricon. Nick, can the Bulldogs get it done?
Yeah, I don't think they can. But the Bulldogs, if both teams play at their best, this will be a great contest. Geelong were off against Adelaide, weren't they, last week? Yeah. And I got behind the Crows, trying to will them over the line, just to see Matty Nicks get his first win. But the safe money's with the Cats. I think it'll be a good game though. That's Friday night footy. That'll be ripper. Maybe head down the coast for that one. I won't, but anyone in the region maybe head down for it.
That's Friday, is it? No, I'll be out and about, having a little drink. So, Shano, brother, where are you putting this one? Western Bulldogs, Geelong?
I'm going to get the Doggies. Yeah, just a bit of an upset. They're paying $2.45, but yeah, they're still a good team to watch, and they are one of those teams right at the precipice as to whether they're going to play finals or not. But they've got the squad. They play well enough, and they smashed the D's who were in good nick last week. So yeah, I don't mind the Doggies.
All right, I'm going to go Geelong. I've been bullish on them from the start, so I'm going Geelong. Shane, Port Adelaide versus Sydney.
Power, just.
Nick.
Just.
Hey, you boys had a crack at me last week about Adelaide. You guys, it's going to be 400 points. And I said, no, I think it's going to be quite tempered. It's going to be a bit of a drag for the Cats to get over the line. So, hey, come on.
What's your point?
16 points.
What am I missing?
16 points.
Yeah. Sydney care as much about this season as Lance and Jacinta Franklin care about it. Port Adelaide will win monstrously.
Right. Nick, Freo versus GWS. Where you put your tip?
I'm going to go for the underdog here, Fremantle. I really, as I said, can I use bullish? Someone said bullish. I like the way they go about things. I read an article during the week that was saying, how about, can Justin Longmuir be the coach of the year? The short answer is no, but he's done an admirable job because he took over from one of the most boring, negative, defensive coaches of all time in Ross Lyon. So anything looks more attractive for what Fremantle are producing. Can I just kind of quote what Kevin Sheedy was on one of the shows during the week, and he said that Ross Lyon, did you see this, Shane? Ross Lyon coached your football club to a couple of unsuccessful grand finals, 3 in fact. But he said, Kevin Sheedy said, Ross Lyon is one of the smartest coaches in the history of the game.
Mm.
And then he followed it up with saying, well, he's got to be pretty smart considering he got $10 million over 8 years to coach and not win a flag. So well done, Sheeds. He's still quick, very quick-witted. And Shane, if you can only see my face at the moment on this footage, Shane is looking pursed-lipped. He's not happy. So sorry, Shane.
No, I'm fine. I'm over it.
Fremantle, Shane, or Giants?
Oh, absolutely, Fremantle. Yeah, they're playing great footy. Their kids are some of the best crop coming through across the land. So yeah, keep going, boys.
I agree. I'll tip Freo there. They are on the up. So Melbourne versus St Kilda there. Shano,
in the Alice, one of Nick's favourite places. The way where the turbo prop just seems to just roll into that place. You'd think there'd be a longer lead time to any sort of drop out of the sky over there in Alice Springs. There's a lot of nothing around it. But anyway.
Have you been to Alice Springs, Nathan?
No.
Shout out to patrons at the top.
I was going to say a shout out to those wonderful people in Uramina at the Uramina station who housed me for 40 hours I'll never get back.
St Kilda. Go the boys.
I think St Kilda will win. Shane, last week you tipped Melbourne to beat the Dogs after I pumped the Dogs up and said that don't use Melbourne's form against Collingwood. You were wrong. Just wanted to state that. But St Kilda will win. You're right here.
All right. I'll go the Saints as well. Nick, your boys, can they beat Carlton? Carlton are up and about at the moment. Kicked terribly against the Suns and still pants them to a degree. So Carlton versus Collingwood, mate. What do you reckon?
We absolutely can, but we won't. Yeah, we won't. Carlton will win this. Collingwood are in all sorts. And, undecided as to whether I'll attend on Sunday because I'll catch COVID or catch brick walls. So I might just stay at home for it. I think Carlton will win.
Shane?
Lose.
I agree. Okay, my boys versus North Melbourne. They will win. Nico?
It's got danger game, Nathan, all over it for the Suns because
They need a win. They need a win.
They should win it. And North Melbourne are no good. They should win it. I hope they do, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Kangas pull something out of the bag here, but the Suns should win.
Shane?
Don't want to throw the 6:10 p.m. Sunday classic out there too strongly, but I think this will be a really diabolical, pretty average match. I think the Kangaroos will win and probably put another nail in the coffin of the whole St Kilda versus Gold Coast ladder situation, which we can report on more next week.
Nathan, you do need to be aware. We'll race through these. Because of the frenzy, we've got Tuesday. So before we're on air, we've got Tuesday Hawthorn playing Adelaide.
Yeah.
I'll tip the Hawks there, even though it's in Adelaide. That could be a big sniff for Adelaide's first win.
Yeah, me too. Shane?
Yep, me too, Hawks.
All right, what else we got, Nick?
Well, the Eagles and the Dons at the Gabba. I think that the Eagles will win that one there. That's on Tuesday night, 8:10. Tuesday
We'll be
night.
there. I'm sure we'll be there. 8:10.
Yeah.
That makes for a really eventful evening. Yes, let's go. And I'll be there with Nick.
And then Nathan, who are you going with?
Definitely West Coast, 100%.
And then we're going to be on air probably half time of the Richmond Fremantle game next Wednesday, where the Tigers should comfortably take care of the Dockers after they win. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, perfect. Done. All right, boys. It's been a fantastic episode, one for the ages. We'll keep our short passes till next week for this week. But, gentlemen, enjoy your week. Enjoy your footy, ladies and gents. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you all next week.
Woo!